Alpine iLX-W650 promises a modern, sleek, shallow-mount brain for your dash that makes wired CarPlay and Android Auto feel premium. Either we've reached budget head unit nirvana or we're paying extra for a shiny compromise. On paper it looks strong. A 7-inch anti-glare capacitive touchscreen, 6-channel 4V pre-outs, 2 camera inputs, and that crazy shallow 2.4-inch chassis that can power stack with Alpine's KTA 450 mini-amp. But here's the thing, specs can sparkle while real-world driving exposes the cracks. Here's what caught my attention. I daily drove with it, tested calls, CarPlay, radio, and a backup camera over 2 solid weeks in blazing sun and night commutes. I've put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after 2 weeks of testing. Here's what Alpine says this thing will do. Give you clean, reliable wired CarPlay and Android Auto, better than stock sound, easy install thanks to the shallow chassis and safer voice control. Key promises. Simple shallow mount install with room for wiring or a stacked amp. Crisp 7-inch anti-glare capacitive screen with swipe control. Hands-free calling and voice assistant access for navigation and music. Expandability. 2 camera inputs, 4V pre-outs, SiriusXM ready, iDataLink support. Sounds great, right? Especially with an Amazon rating around 4.1, but here's where things get interesting. Reality check. They claim anti-glare day and night visibility. What you actually get is decent daylight performance that still struggles in direct noon sun, especially with polarized sunglasses. The panel is WVGA, not HD, so text and album art are fine, not razor sharp. Evidence. In my testing, bright days forced me to tilt my head to dodge reflections, and multiple real users echo the same glare and brightness complaints. They claim simple install. What you actually get is a shallow chassis that genuinely helps fitment, but the wiring, dash kit, and Maestro integrations still take time. The shallow body is a win for tight dashes and power stacking the KTA 450, but let's be real. There's nothing plug-and-play about steering wheel control retention or camera triggers unless your vehicle harness is already set up. Evidence, installer forums and reviews consistently praise the depth, while also warning first-timers that you still need the right harnesses and a Saturday afternoon. They imply stronger sound. Here's where it gets mathematically impossible. You'll see 50 WX4 peak tossed around. What you actually get is roughly 16-18 WRMS per channel, like most head units. The 4V pre-outs are the real hero for external amps, not the internal amp. Evidence, swapping to the KTA 450 transformed dynamics in my car. Without it, volume was fine but not thrilling against road noise. They promise reliable CarPlay Android Auto. What you actually get is solid wired performance if you use a high-quality cable and route the USB cleanly. Cheap cables or a loose USB extension, that's when you see odd disconnects. Evidence, my first week with a worn cable dropped CarPlay twice, fresh MFI cable fixed it. Many user reviews saying it disconnects are, frankly, cable-related. They sell hands-free control. The reality, Siri/Assistant works as expected, but microphone placement is everything. Clip it up high and you're golden. Clip it low and highway noise wins. Evidence, callers rated me clear at city speeds and a bit compressed above 65 mph, pretty normal for this class. They hint at radio quality. Reality? AM, FM is standard, nothing HD built in, and SiriusXM requires the add-on tuner. If you were hoping for HD radio or wireless CarPlay at this price, that's not here. Plot twist. You're paying Alpine money for Alpine stability, not bleeding-edge features. Here's where things get interesting. iDataLink Maestro support means advanced vehicle integration on supported cars, but some vehicles get limited gauges or none. Always check the Maestro site before you buy, and if you crave a volume knob, this is soft buttons only. That's not switching, that's expensive confusion for drivers who like tactile control. Sound quality. The head unit's internal amp is fine for stock speakers, clean but not chesty. The 4V 6-channel pre-outs, crossover controls, basic time correction, and EQ make a measurable difference when you add an amp. With the KTA 450 power stack, the system wakes up, tighter bass control, more headroom, and less distortion at highway volumes. Without an amp, it's acceptable, not spectacular. Screen and UI. The 7-inch capacitive panel is responsive with smooth swipe gestures. WVGA resolution means it looks like a solid factory upgrade, not a tablet. In direct sunlight, the anti-glare coating helps but doesn't perform miracles. Night mode integrates with your illumination wire and works well. The UI is clean and fast. Boot to usable CarPlay in roughly 7–10 seconds in my testing. Installation and expandability. The 2.4-inch depth is a lifesaver in tight vehicles. It leaves breathing room for harnesses, a Maestro module, and the KTA450 stacked behind the radio. 2 camera inputs with on-screen guidelines are excellent for front and rear setups. Single rear USB is the bottleneck if you want multiple inputs. Ready with the SXV300 add-on, no HD radio, reliability and quirks. Wired CarPlay and Android Auto were stable with a quality cable. No random reboots during my 2-week run. Mic quality is average, placement matters. The biggest owner complaints I found while digging through Amazon and installer forums. Screen brightness in harsh sun, no wireless CarPlay, and the lack of a volume knob. The unit's Amazon rating sitting around 4.1 lines up with this mix of praise and a few pain points. Verdict: recommended with asterisks. If you want reliable wired CarPlay, Android Auto, clean pre-outs for future amps, and a shallow chassis that makes installs painless, the Alpine iLX-W650 is worth the extra money over bargain bin Android units. Pair it with the KTA450 and you'll smile every drive. But skip this if you insist on wireless CarPlay, an ultra-bright HD screen, or a physical volume knob. In the same price neighborhood, consider Sony's XAV-AX1000 if you need a knob, or Pioneer's DMH series if you want a slightly brighter panel. For most shoppers upgrading from stock, the Alpine's stability and expandability deliver real value. Stay smart, not flashy. Thanks for hanging out with me. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I've put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. Got questions about your vehicle's compatibility or want me to compare it to a wireless unit next? Drop a comment. New deep dive coming up on hidden costs of budget head units. Keep your installs clean and your sound cleaner.